Close your eyes for a second and imagine a tiny silver-looking coin sitting quietly in your drawer, forgotten for years, and suddenly someone tells you that this single dime could be worth $17,000, maybe even hundreds of thousands, and in extreme cases, whisper about in the millions. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about the 1965 Liberty dime, officially known as a Roosevelt dime, and the shocking reason why some rare examples have turned ordinary people into serious collectors overnight. If you've ever ignored a dime because it looked common, this video might change the way you see money forever. Now here's where the story gets powerful. In 1965, the United States made a historic change. Because of rising silver prices, the United States Mint stopped producing dimes in 90% silver and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. That means almost every 1965 dime you see today is not silver. It weighs about 2.27 grams and has that normal copper-nickel structure. But here's the twist that collectors can't stop talking about. A few extremely rare 1965 dimes were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964. Those rare silver-era coins weigh around 2.50 grams instead of 2.27 grams. That tiny difference in weight, that tiny hidden detail, is where the money is hiding. Think about the drama of that moment. The mint changes metal composition. Production lines are moving fast. Old silver blanks are still lying around, and boom, a small number of 1,965 dimes are struck in silver by mistake. No mint mark, no obvious sign, just a silent error, waiting to be discovered decades later. Most people spend them without thinking, but the ones who check the weight, the ones who test for silver content, they are the ones who sometimes walk into auctions and walk out with life-changing money. Let's talk numbers because I know that's what you're waiting for. A confirmed genuine 1965 silver error dime in high grade has sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Some examples have crossed the $15,000 to $20,000 range depending on condition and authentication. And when bidding wars happen at major coin auctions, prices can explode. Now imagine the shock. You buy a $10 digital scale. You weigh your 1965 dime, and instead of 2.27 grams, it shows close to 2.50 grams. That's the moment your heartbeat changes. That's the moment your normal day turns into a treasure hunt. But let me be clear, not every 1965 dime is rare. In fact, billions were produced. Most are only worth face value. That's why authentication is everything. If you truly believe you have a silver error, you don't just sell it randomly. You get it verified by a professional grading service. Once authenticated, yes, you can list it at a major coin auction. You can explore platforms like eBay and even serious collector groups on Facebook. But beware of false claims online. Many people spread rumors about millions without proof. Real value comes from verified rarity, weight accuracy, and condition. Don't fall for hype, but also don't ignore opportunity. And here's the emotional part. Why are you confused? Why are you doubting yourself? If you already have a 1965 dime at home, what's stopping you from checking it? It costs almost nothing to weigh it. It costs nothing to look at the edge for a solid silver color instead of a copper stripe. You lose nothing by checking, but you could gain everything. That's not fantasy. That's how coin discoveries have happened before. Regular people, ordinary drawers, extraordinary outcomes. So listen carefully. The 1965 Liberty dime is powerful not because every piece is valuable, but because a tiny number of hidden silver errors exist in a sea of common coins. That mystery creates suspense. That possibility creates hope, and hope mixed with knowledge creates opportunity. I'm not telling you every coin will make you rich overnight. I'm telling you that ignoring your change without checking could mean missing something special. So before you scroll away, before you say it's just a dime, Go check. Weigh it. Examine it. Research it properly. Because sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest surprise. Coin number 2, when people hear about rare coins, they usually imagine something ancient, something from the 1800s locked away in a museum. But what if I told you that a simple 1966 Liberty dime, a coin that still looks ordinary to most people, could carry shocking value in today's market? Yes, I'm talking about the Roosevelt dime with Liberty on the obverse, a small silver-colored coin many Americans have held without a second thought. The truth is, certain 1966 dimes have stunned collectors with prices reaching into thousands, and in rare cases, exceptional pieces have climbed toward the 5-figure range. Imagine having a tiny 10-cent coin sitting in a drawer that could be worth around $13,000 under the right conditions. That's not fantasy. That's the power of rarity, condition, and collector demand combined. The Roosevelt dime, introduced in 1946, replaced a Mercury design and carried forward the word Liberty as part of its iconic American identity. By 1966, the United States was in a transition era for coinage. Just a year earlier, silver had been removed from dimes, making 1966 part of the early copper-nickel-clad period. Because of this change, many people assume these coins are common and ordinary, and most of them are. But here's where it gets exciting. Rarity in modern coins often comes from mint errors, exceptional strike quality, and ultra-high-grade preservation. A perfectly preserved 1966 dime, especially one with sharp details, brilliant luster, and no wear, can be incredibly scarce because most were heavily circulated. The fewer flawless survivors, the higher the competition among collectors. Now, let's talk about what truly drives a 1966 dime into the thousands. Condition is everything. Coins graded at the very top of the scale, near perfect mint state, can command dramatic premiums. Add to that the possibility of rare mint errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet mistakes, and suddenly you're not holding pocket change anymore. You're holding a collector's prize. These special varieties create buzz in auctions because collectors are always chasing the finest known examples. When two determined buyers compete for the best quality piece available, prices can escalate fast. That's how a coin with a face value of 10 cents can climb into 4-figure territory and beyond. But here's the reality check you must understand. Not every 1966 dime is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth only face value or a small premium. The coins that reach values like $13,000 are extreme outliers, usually certified by professional grading services, and preserved in extraordinary condition. Hype can make it sound like every coin is a hidden treasure, but true value depends on measurable factors. Grade, eye appeal, scarcity of that exact condition, and documented sales history. If you believe you have a high-quality example, the smart move is to have it professionally evaluated rather than relying on rumors or exaggerated claims. So before you rush to spend or sell your 1966 Liberty dime, take a closer look. Examine the sharpness of Roosevelt's hair, the torch details on the reverse, and the overall shine. A coin that has never seen circulation and still flashes with original mint brilliance is far more desirable than one worn smooth by decades of use. Could it change your fortune overnight? For most people, probably not. But in rare circumstances, the right coin in the right condition at the right auction absolutely can deliver a surprising payoff. The key is knowledge, patience, and verification. Because in the world of coin collecting, excitement is real, but facts always determine the final price. Coin number 3. When people hear the words 1967 Liberty dime, their hearts start racing because this small silver-colored coin from the United States carries a powerful mystery. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary 10-cent piece, but collectors know that 1967 was a very special year in American coin history. During the mid-1960s, coin shortages forced the government to make major changes. Silver was removed from dimes after 1964, and mint marks were temporarily eliminated to stop hoarding. That means every 1967 dime was struck without a mint mark, adding a layer of intrigue. While most 1967 dimes are common and made of copper nickel, the real excitement begins when we talk about rare errors, unusual conditions, and high-grade examples that can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Now let's clear the biggest myth in a powerful but honest way. A regular 1967 dime in circulated condition is usually worth only face value, just 10 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, most examples are worth only a few dollars. However, the story completely changes when we enter the world of rare mint errors and near-perfect condition coins. Some 1967 dimes with dramatic off-center strikes, double die errors, or coins graded in extremely high mint state condition by professional grading companies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In very rare situations, especially if the coin is in pristine MS-67 or higher condition, auction prices can climb into the high thousands. While claims of millions overnight are unrealistic for a normal 1967 dime, exceptional error coins in flawless condition have crossed the $10,000 to $20,000 range in competitive auctions. The reason 1967 dimes attract attention is because of the unique historical background. The U.S. Mint removed mint marks from 1965 to 1967 to discourage collectors from saving new coins, which ironically made serious collectors even more curious about these years. Production numbers were high, but survival in perfect condition was not. Most coins entered circulation quickly and suffered scratches, bag marks, and wear. Finding a sharply struck 1967 dime with blazing luster, no visible contact marks, and full torch details on the reverse is incredibly difficult. That difficulty is what drives demand. The rarer the grade, the stronger the price. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king, and one single point difference in grade can mean thousands of dollars in value. If you believe you might have a special 1967 dime, the smartest move is not to rush to sell it cheaply. First, check its condition carefully under bright light. Look for strong detail in Liberty's hair and the torch bands on the reverse. Then examine it for unusual errors, doubling in letters, misaligned strikes, clipped planchets, or off-center designs. If it appears flawless or shows a clear mint error, sending it to a professional grading service or authentication could unlock its true potential. Certified coins often command much higher prices because buyers trust third-party grading. Never clean the coin. Cleaning destroys collector value instantly. Patience and proper evaluation are what separate a lucky find from a lost opportunity. So here's the real truth behind the 1967 Liberty dime. It is not automatically a millionaire maker, but under the right circumstances, it can be surprisingly valuable. The excitement comes from rarity in condition and error types, not from the date alone. While most examples are common, the rare few in extraordinary shape have shocked collectors with impressive auction results. That tiny piece of metal in your drawer may not be worth millions, but if it's exceptional, it could absolutely be worth far more than 10 cents. And in the world of coin collecting, sometimes one rare detail is all it takes to transform an ordinary dime into a prize worth thousands. Coin number 4. When people hear about a simple 1968, the United States Liberty dime, they usually think it's just small change, something that slips through fingers at a grocery store. But what if I told you that this tiny silver-colored coin has shocked collectors again and again? The 1968 D dime, officially known as a Roosevelt dime, was minted in Denver and carries the proud D mint mark. At first glance, it looks ordinary. The familiar profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the torch, the olive branch, the oak branch. But in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. And in rare cases, this small 10-cent piece has reached values that can truly surprise you. Now, let's be clear and powerful about this. Not every 1968 D-dime is worth thousands. Millions were produced, and most are still worth only face value. However, here's where the story turns exciting. If your 1968 D-dime is in absolutely stunning, high-grade uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used in daily transactions and still shines with sharp details, collectors can pay serious money. Coins graded at the very top of the scale, especially those certified in near-perfect mint state condition, have crossed into the thousands of dollars at auction. In rare situations, examples with extraordinary quality or special mint characteristics have sold for amounts approaching or even exceeding the $10,000 to $15,000 range. That's the difference between pocket change and a collector's treasure. The real power of this coin lies in its grade and rarity in top condition. During the late 1960s, the U.S. Mint was still adjusting after removing silver from dimes a few years earlier. So the 1968 D-dime is a clad coin, not solid silver like earlier versions. That means its metal content alone isn't what creates value. Instead, it's the sharp strike, clean surfaces, strong luster, and absence of marks that make certain pieces stand out. Coins preserved carefully for decades, sometimes stored in rolls, bank sets, or original packaging, can emerge today as elite collector specimens. A flawless torch on the reverse in crisp lettering can transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. But here's the truth you must understand before dreaming of overnight millions. The internet often exaggerates coin values. Claims of every 1968 D-dime being worth millions are simply not realistic. The market decides value based on demand, certified grading, auction history, and overall scarcity in top condition. If you believe you have a special example, the smartest move is to have it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service. Without certification, even a beautiful coin may not command premium prices. Knowledge protects you from selling too cheap and also protects you from unrealistic expectations. So does the 1968 Liberty Dime have the power to change your fortune overnight? For most people, no. For the rare collector who discovers a superb, nearly perfect specimen, it absolutely can bring a surprising payday. That is the magic of coin collecting. Tiny pieces of history hiding in plain sight. Before you spend that old dime, take a closer look. Examine its shine, its details, its condition. Because sometimes the smallest coin in your pocket carries a story and possibly a value far greater than you ever imagined. Now, last in, before you scroll away, stop for a second and imagine this. What if a simple 1977 United States dime sitting quietly in your drawer could be worth thousands, maybe even life-changing money? I'm not joking, and I'm not trying to fool you. Most people see a small silver-colored coin and think it's just 10 cents. But serious collectors know that sometimes ordinary coins hide extraordinary value. Today we're talking about the 1977 dime featuring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and why in certain rare conditions it has shocked the coin market. First, let's understand what this coin really is. The 1977 dime is part of the Roosevelt dime series, first introduced in 1946 to honor Roosevelt after his death. By 1977, these dimes were no longer made of silver. They are composed of a copper core with a nickel coating, what collectors call a clad composition. The official weight of a standard 1977 dime is 2.27 grams. With a diameter of 17.91 millimeters. Billions were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, which means most 1977 dimes are very common and worth only face value. Yes, most of them are just 10 cents. But here is where the suspense begins. What makes a 1977 dime potentially valuable is not the date alone. It's the condition and possible mint errors. High-grade uncirculated coins graded MS-67, or higher by professional grading companies can sell for hundreds, sometimes over $1,000. Now here's the exciting part. If a 1977 dime has a dramatic mint error, such as an off-center strike, double die error, clip planchet, or being mistakenly struck on the wrong metal, its value can jump significantly. There have been rare error dimes from other years selling for several $1,000s at auction. Could a unique 1977 error reach $13,000? In extremely rare and verified cases with strong collector demand, it's possible, but it must be authenticated. Now let's talk about the word everyone gets excited about, millions. Can a regular 1977 dime be worth millions of dollars? Realistically, no verified standard 1977 clad dime has sold for millions. And I won't lie to you, but here's the truth that keeps collectors searching every day. Rare mint errors and wrong planchet strikes in U.S. coin history have brought astonishing prices. That's why people carefully check every coin. The key is rarity plus demand plus certified condition. If you believe you have something unusual weight, silver color that doesn't match clad, missing mint mark, strong doubling, then it's worth investigating properly instead of spending it. Some people get confused because they see viral posts claiming, "This dime will make you rich overnight." Don't fall for fake listings or exaggerated claims without proof. However, don't ignore your coin either. If your 1977 dime looks different from normal circulation coins, weigh it. If it doesn't match 2.27 grams, that's interesting. Look for sharp details, no scratches, strong luster. If it appears uncirculated for nearly 50 years, that alone adds collectible value. The coin market rewards condition. A flawless coin stored carefully since 1977 is far more desirable than one pulled from daily change. And if you truly believe you have a rare example, you have options. You can submit it to a professional grading service for authentication. After certification, coins are commonly sold through major auction houses, on platforms like eBay, or even through collector groups on Facebook. But always sell smart. Never rely on hype alone. Real value comes from verification. If someone tells you it's worth millions without proof, be cautious. If it's certified rare, the market will decide its true power. So here's my message to you. Don't panic. Don't be greedy without knowledge, and don't ignore opportunity either. Check your 1977 dimes carefully. Most will be ordinary. A few could be special. And one rare error coin in the right condition could absolutely surprise you. That's not fantasy. That's how the coin world works. The difference between 10 cents and thousands of dollars is knowledge. So before you spend that small coin, look at it twice, because sometimes history hides in plain sight.